Jesus did not say this to people who had everything together. He said it to people who were buried under weight they were never supposed to carry, and he is saying the same thing to a lot of us right now. Matthew 11 verses 28 to 30 says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." The people Jesus was speaking to were exhausted under a religious system that kept adding requirements to their lives. Every time they thought they might finally be enough, there was another rule, another standard, another way they had fallen short. The religious leaders of that era were famous for making the burden heavier, for layering obligation on top of obligation while offering no help carrying any of it. And Jesus steps into that context and says something that would have been genuinely shocking: "Come to me. Not perform for me. Not earn your way to me. Come. Just as you are, right now, already tired." To understand the yoke image, you need a little context. A yoke in that culture was a wooden frame placed across the necks of two oxen so they could share the work of pulling together. It was not a symbol of punishment, it was a tool of partnership. When Jesus says "take my yoke," he is not adding one more item to your to-do list. He is saying, you are not meant to pull this alone. Come alongside me, and I will take the heavy end. The dynamic shifts from you straining under a load to you walking in step with someone whose strength does not give out. He also says something worth pausing on: "Learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart." In a world full of teachers and leaders and voices telling you what to do and who to be, Jesus describes himself as gentle and humble. Not demanding and impressive. Not harsh and exacting. Gentle. The one inviting you into rest is himself, the kind of person who will not crush what is already bruised. Now here is what makes this verse so countercultural today, and why it is harder to receive than it might look. We live in a world that has quietly convinced most of us that rest is something you earn. You work until you collapse, and then you get a weekend. You sacrifice your health, your relationships, and your peace for decades, and then maybe someday you get to retire and rest. Rest at the beginning sounds irresponsible. Rest in the middle sounds like quitting. And so a lot of people carry things for years: anxiety, guilt, the pressure to be enough, the weight of other people's expectations, that Jesus never asked them to pick up in the first place. The offer he is making here is not rest after you are finished. It is rest as a way of moving through life. A pace. A posture. A different way of walking that does not require you to be the one holding everything together. And there is a word in here worth sitting with: souls. You will find rest for your souls. Not just rest for your schedule, or your body, or your to-do list. Rest for the deep part of you that is tired in a way that a vacation cannot fix. That is a different kind of rest entirely, and it is the kind only one source can actually provide. The takeaway: if your faith feels exhausting, if following God feels like one more thing demanding something from you, you may be carrying something Jesus never asked you to carry, and the invitation to put it down is still open.